Hello and welcome to TelecomTV. We're reporting from the OpenStack Summit 2016 here in Barcelona in Spain, and I'm talking with Susan James, who is Head of Product Line NFV Infrastructure Product Area Cloud Systems at Ericsson. I can't remember all of that at one go, Susan, but great to see you again.
Nice to see you.
So I'd like to talk to you about the partnership you recently announced with Red Hat. Opportunities and challenges there. What value does a partnership like this bring to operators, to the ecosystem and the community, and to partners themselves?
I think what we really see is it gives operators a choice. We don't feel that it's our job to dictate to operators which distribution that they want to choose, and we really want to give them the ability to choose what they want, and not exclude ourselves from collaborating in that business. So from that perspective, it's about giving operators choice. It's also about making sure that we can support the different workloads that they have in the best possible way. But as you said, from a community perspective, it's very much around how we collaborate in upstream communities to be able to get the kind of requirements and characteristics that we need in the different distributions to be able to support, real-time workloads going forward. So there's many benefits on different fronts, I would say, but really we've done it around giving operators choice and how to get the right content.
Do operators approach vendors? Did operators approach Ericsson with NFVi when things began to change in an enormous way for 4 or so years? And once operators realised what NFVi can do for them and can do for the network, did they approach you and say, look, we really would like you to do this, this and this on our behalf?
No, I think it's been quite a different discussion actually. I think, we've been talking about NFVi from an industry perspective for quite some time, and I think that there has been a number of operators that take a longer time to decide whether that's a journey that they want to embark on. What we see now is that, we have some analysis that we have here at the OpenStack event, which shows now all operators are now committed to taking that journey. But really it's about not just evolving their network function virtualization infrastructure, it's about evolving their business. Sure. And how do they address their customers in a good way, but also preparing their network for the next wave of business that will be tied very much to IoT. So to be able to address IoT business, they need to have a lot more automation, not just in the virtualization of their network functions, but in the virtualization of their networking, part of the SDN, but also in their OSS, BSS, so how they provision services. So if you think about how you consume services, you want it to be able to consume it on your terms. And usually that means going to a website and putting some information in there, not going to a store or not standing on in a telephone queue. And you really want those things provisioned straight away. You don't want to wait 21 days for that. So it's about transforming all of those things together to be able to address their customers, because if they don't, someone else will come in and do it for them. So it's really about evolving not just technology, but your people, your organization and processes.
Major task.
It is.
Okay. Can we move on to other open initiatives? There are lots and lots of open initiatives out there since NFV and SDN started to progress. What's your view on how organizations upstream work with OpenStack, Open Daylight, OPNFV and so on? How does a dynamic work? Well,
I think, we've learned a lot in the last 3 years, 4 years, and I think that when we started, we were using the wrong language. I think, each part of the industry has its own language, and I still find today we use the same terms and mean very different things. But so when we came in and we said, OpenStack, we want to build something that's telco grade, we want, robustness and different things. Telco grade means something very different to different parts of the organization than it does to others. Some see that as being, high quality, really focused on characteristics, and others see that as my phone doesn't work. So we need to balance that in a good way. Yeah. And I think the role that OPNFV played in that was really, in a way, helping different parts of the industry understand each other in a way. So things like robustness, resilience, scalability, recoverability, all of security, all of these are things that everyone can get behind. Whereas you talk about telco grade, maybe not something that everybody's wanting to get behind. So I think OPNFV started in helping us work towards OpenStack and getting the kind of characteristics that we need there. But now it's sort of evolved to play a role of how do you bring all of these different technologies together in a good way, do the integration so that you don't end up with different software out there that are integrated on a one-off basis all over the place. So it gives a much more, I would say, traditional telecom approach on how you do standard, integration, providing interoperability in a different way, and pre-integration, if you like, than what has traditionally happened in more of an IT side of a business. So it's really, gluing, if you like, all of the different open source projects together in a way that gives you a blueprint on how to go forward with that, which becomes really important for operators, maybe not the tier 1 operators, but certainly for tier 2, tier 3 operators that really don't have that skill set at their fingertips to be able to do that from day one.
So what do you at Ericsson then regard as being the main opportunities that you're going to accrue from this partnership?
Well, I think, of course, having a technology leader as a partner really helps advance the dialogue, and I think that that's one thing I'm particularly looking forward to and how we shape the industry going forward. From a customer perspective, it's great to give your customers choice, not being prescriptive in exactly you need to do this, this, and this. Giving them choices, giving them the freedom to have a dialogue with us and say, well, what do you think about this? What do you think? And put together a solution that they will really appreciate in the market. And even if you look internally with different operators, there will be different islands that start up as different parts of the organization start with the journey at different directions. So we're going to end up in a situation where you're going to have multiple environments. And I think there's really a benefit that Ericsson brings is how do you merge all of these different environments together, and how do you create a coherent, management capability around those environments as they join together over a period of time.
You've talked a lot about the opportunities, Susan. Are there any possible downsides that you can see as far as a partnership like this is concerned? Will you be too tied into one particular company, do you think?
Well, I think, from an Ericsson perspective, we are partnering with many different companies, so we're not tied to one specific company from that perspective. Then you could say, do you have too many choices? Well, that's always, we'll see some customers that have preferences in one direction and customers having preference in others. So I don't see that as being a particular challenge. I think what it will do from our perspective is mean that we see the same sorts of challenges that operators see, and how do you actually bring all of these technologies together in a coherent way? And that, I think, will give us some really good insight on how you actually do that from an operations perspective and get the right kind of characteristics across the whole network.
So does it mean that Ericsson is changing its strategy as far as NFV infrastructure is concerned?
No, I think it's more of an evolution of the strategy. We've known all along we needed to have support for rail-based workloads, so really the time was right, I think, for us to be able to do that. And as part of then this collaboration, we really feel that by working together in the upstream first model, we'll be able to accelerate the kind of requirements that we have to get everything we need in place to be able to fulfill all the operators' needs going forward.
Very interesting stuff. Susan James, thank you.
Thanks so much.